Hey everybody, Jillian here from Gulf Coast Canine, and we're going to talk a little bit about muzzle conditioning today. So you're going to see our first session with Nova, who's a new dog in for training. She's really uncomfortable around other dogs, both on leash and off leash, and so to help us in her socialization process, we're going to use one of these fun little Baskerville muzzles to make sure that not only are the dogs that we put around her safe, but also so that we can address all of her social needs and social skills in a nice training way, so that she can't do any harm to anybody who is around her. Now, obviously, we don't just put this on a dog and chuck them out in the yard with other dogs until they're ready. So this is more of just a just-in-case kind of scenario versus a necessity kind of scenario. So it is a skill that we're always going to help transfer to the owners when the dog returns home. But I just want to go over a little bit about a Baskerville muzzle in case if you're not really aware of what they are and how they look and what we use them for. So the purpose of a Baskerville muzzle is, as you can see, it's got all these fun little holes in it. However, when the dog puts their face in here, so if my hand is the dog's face, they still can't bite or make contact with another dog, but they can still eat, drink, pant. They can really live normally. So it shouldn't be something that constricts their ability to open their mouth like a grooming or a cloth muzzle would be. Those are very restrictive. They keep the dog's mouth closed and are not meant to be worn for an extended period of time. Whereas a Baskerville muzzle can actually be worn for an extended period of time because dogs can all eat, drink, pant, breathe, expel their heat, and still, live normally. So these are great training tools. It has a strap that goes over the top here, so that this way, when the dog is wearing it, this would go over the top of their head and obviously latch on. So it's just an extra or added safety precaution. So if a dog wants to pull the muzzle off of their face, it's actually connected over their head and into the back of the strap here. Now, we want to make sure that we're not just putting the muzzle on and expecting the dog to just deal with it. That's not what we're looking to do. We're actually going to muzzle condition. So this would be a process that takes about 2 weeks. And you're going to see our first beginning phases, and then we'll put together a video all at the end to show you the different phases and steps for actually muzzle conditioning your dog. So again, this isn't something you're just going to want to buy online or pick up at the store, throw it on your dog and expect them to just deal with it. It's going to make it a really unpleasant experience. And not only that, but this is going to go on their face, and then if you put them around another dog or children or something that they're generally uncomfortable with, they're going to link that the muzzle is because of those things that they already don't like or make them feel uncomfortable, hence making the muzzle a really uncomfortable type of situation for them. So close up, because you're going to see me holding this muzzle and putting a command on it so that Nova actually puts her face in when I say muzzle and she gets some food. But I want to show everybody how I'm actually going to set this up in my hand. So we've got that strap. This is how it basically comes out of the box. We've got the strap that goes over the top and then the one that attaches in the back. Okay. So what I typically do when I hold this in my hand is I'm actually going to take this part right here that goes under their face, and I'm going to flip it over the muzzle. So now all we have is a nice little basket, hence basket muzzle. So we have a nice little basket. The webbing is now under the muzzle here, okay? And what this does is it creates a nice little pocket for me to be able to put my hand. So that webbing is going to actually help me hold my hand, so I can actually tip the muzzle over, I can shake it, it moves around, however, it's not gonna fall out of my hand. Now this is a size 2, they do go up much, much bigger, so you can get up to sizes 6 and as small as size 1. So obviously this is a size 2, Nova's pretty small, but this is all gonna depend on your dog's face and their muzzle. So the bigger it is, obviously the bigger the size that they need. And this webbing will still work the same way for the bigger muzzles. So this webbing going across the back of my hand will still work the same way, but obviously it'll be bigger and it might still be kind of like loose in your hand, but you'll still be able to hold it, you know, with your thumb. You can even take your fingers and squeeze into the muzzle so that it doesn't fall, even if it's a bigger size. So the idea now is that this is in my hand, and what I'm gonna do is now I'm gonna take some food, and I'll show you how I do this. The food goes right in, and that's where I hold it. All right, so the food is in there, and I would approach Nova, which you'll see me do. I'm gonna approach Nova, I'm gonna say muzzle, and she's gonna go ahead and put her face in. So again, there's the muzzle, there's her food, and it's just her kibble. There's Nova. And I'm gonna walk up to her and I'm gonna say muzzle. She's gonna put her food. So she's actually working for her meal. And that's another really important idea to use as your strategy for muzzle conditioning your dog. This is how she accesses food. So it's no longer from a dish. We're no longer gonna put her food in a dish and put it down on the ground. We're actually going to make sure that she's eating and she's only eating from this. So we're creating all of these really good experiences when it comes to the muzzle. So again, no food from a dish, no food from anywhere else. All the food comes from the muzzle. So again, the important idea to understand here is that the muzzle is a really, really great thing. I actually want dogs to be doing backflips and cartwheels and jumping up in the air, trying to stick their face in here because it's such an awesome thing for them. So using food, you can mix their food with some extra snacks so that this way, sometimes they'll get an extra little surprise, whether it be a treat or a hot dog or a piece of cheese, just to kind of keep them guessing. But again, you don't want to use straight snacks or treats with the muzzle and then allow them to eat from a dish. So this will take you a little extra time, but again, it's really important that the muzzle is done well and is done right so that your dog is actually going to enjoy wearing it, which I know is a really strange concept for us humans to understand. Why would anybody want to enjoy wearing this? But again, as long as you're creating positive associations, and then we can go ahead and get dogs around their scary things or their things that trigger them, like dogs, people, children, bicycles, without them worrying that this is the cause of those scary things. So again, here's our muzzle. My hand is in there, food in there, and then all we're gonna do is go ahead and approach Nova. We're gonna say muzzle, and she's gonna go ahead and put her face in. If she chooses not to eat, which is not going to be the case, she really likes food, so we're pretty lucky in that front. But if your dog does not want to eat, then we're not going to force them. And you're just going to pack up and you're going to say, okay, well, I guess we'll try again later. And then this way, the food all goes away, and their access to food goes away because the muzzle goes away. And then you can try again at their next mealtime. And then again, if they turn their nose up to their food or they're kind of picky and they only eat a little bit and then they stop eating, again, all the food goes away, and again, their access to it goes away because so does the muzzle. After the first day, they'll really kind of get the hang of it. Some dogs, it takes up to 2 days, and by the 3rd day, they're really excited to put their face in here and gain that access to food. But again, you're still offering the food, and they're choosing whether or not they'd like to eat. So it's always important that you're offering it, and you can offer it more than just their 2 meal times. If you do want to try for a lunch or a dinner and then a late dinner, and try to see if they're willing to eat, you can go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and take a little look at Nova's first muzzle conditioning session, and then stay tuned for our later video when we put all of the components together and her progress together. Muzzle. Muzzle. Muzzle.